Well, where do we start? What's going on, guys? Is Caelan here today. It is the 14th of September, which means we would normally be 11 days out from show. But as you can tell from the thumbnail and the title of this video, certain things have changed. So yeah, I am not competing in the MBFI 2022 for Classic Physique this year. The reason why I'm not competing is because I got an injury that had to be operated on straight away. Because of the said operation, I can't compete. But I'm going to tell you what actually happened. So on the 3rd of September, I had thought that I pulled my groin while training. That's what I thought. Didn't really take much notice of it. I looked it up, pulled groin, stretched out, and the pain went away. That went the next day. So I thought, yeah, just a general pulled groin. Following that, I think it was Monday, I had noticed a slight little nick, same place, same spot, and didn't really take much notice. Because obviously if you pull something, sometimes it will still linger a few days later. And I went to the sauna with Stephen, and it was just chill, relaxing. And then I went to change, and that was when I noticed that everything was black and blue. When I saw this, the first thing I did was actually call my doctors. They told me to go and call the care doc, which I did. Called them, and they told me I had to go straight to hospital. So when I got to hospital, I had to wait like 30 minutes for them to check what the issue was. And when they saw actually what was happening, I think they put me back in the waiting room, surprisingly. And within about 10 seconds, I went straight to A&E. And when you go to A&E, it is quite nerve-wracking, obviously, because you don't know what you're going to expect from something like this. And obviously we went through the same procedures. They took my blood, they asked me a few questions, and then I had the urologist come over, and we were trying to figure out what had actually caused this trauma. And I had no idea, she had no idea, but the issue was I couldn't think of what had caused this said trauma. Now I'll explain what the trauma actually was in a bit, but I couldn't figure it out. I even texted Stephen to see if he could think of anything, because the way that she described it was trauma. It could have been from heavy lifting, from doing a heavy leg day. But Saturday I was doing chest and triceps with Stephen, so far away from the nether regions, and couldn't think of anything at all. So the best option was actually getting the operation. Now the operation was a testicular operation. Basically what had happened was, and I found this out the next day, they told me that one of the tubes that supplies blood to my left testicle had somehow torn, and that was basically sending blood outside of my testicle into the sac area, and that was what was causing it to swell up black and blue. And after that, they also had to check if my left testicle was still alive, because you can imagine if there's no blood going to it, it would die within 4 to 8 hours. And bear in mind, I had what I thought was a groin injury, or groin pulled, was Saturday, so that's 2.5 days later. But it was still alive. They had to make a slight little incision on it, which is painful as hell. Now obviously I was under the anaesthetic. Blood was still coming out, which is good, which was fine. But obviously the healing process for that takes a lot longer than normally it would. So the next day I woke up, couldn't move at all. Couldn't move whatsoever. My legs were locked out. They were numb, they were dead. I felt like I was paralyzed, to say the least. That's what it felt like. And trying to stand up for the first time in like 13 hours, felt like I was learning how to walk again. That's the best way to describe it. And I think it was after breakfast. Breakfast was just simple toast and Rice Krispies. That was it. 2 weeks out from show, or 3 weeks out from show, I was eating Rice Krispies and toast. My consultant came in, and that was when I got the news that I'm not allowed to train for a month. No heavy lifting for a month. I won't be able to pose. And when he said I wasn't able to pose, that was when I realised that I would not be able to compete. And I asked him, would I be able to compete? He said, no, I wouldn't risk it. You could rupture it again, or even worse, certain things could happen. And obviously my health comes first before anything else. Trust me, I would love to compete, but at the same time my health comes first, and that was the main thing. And that was when I realised, shit, I'm not going to compete. But it didn't hit me, weirdly enough, didn't hit me at all like that I wasn't competing. Because normally, like, you know, you put so much effort into this. Normally you'd have a little tear or something. I didn't. And I was thinking to myself, like, has it not hit me yet or not? Or do I care enough? And when I got home in this room, it just hit me like a truckload of emotion. Everywhere, just started crying. The realization that I won't be able to compete, and that, you know, I put all this prep in, all this training to go get ready for this, the first time ever to have classic physique in Ireland, and to not be able to compete in it was just a big letdown for me. So now, realistically, mentally, I was fucked after that. The first few days I was fucked, and that was when I started to realize, you know, why am I sulking? You know, the stage is still here. The stage is going to be there next year. It's going to be there for the next 10 years. And that was sort of when I started thinking about the positives. You know, okay, yes, I can't compete this year, but now I'm able to compete next year. I'm able to get a little bit ahead on everyone else, you know, with the bulk. And obviously I still have to wait 3 more weeks before I can get back to training, but I have that little bit of extra energy just to really restart up the fire with building more muscle. But, you know, obviously for you guys who've been watching this series since the start, or since I ever started YouTube, you know, I sort of feel like I'm letting you guys down, but I know that I'll be able to come back next year bigger, stronger, more conditioned, knowing that certain things like this can happen, and obviously just to take it a little bit more precautious, I suppose, be more safe when doing certain things like this, obviously. And always remember that your health comes first, obviously. Now, bear in mind, we're still going down to the show to see it. Obviously, I know a few people who are competing, so obviously I want to support them, and I want to see them succeed and win their shows. So, you know, I will be recording that as well, so sort of will be a little still, you'll still get the odd vlogger there, but for the time being, I will be stuck at home for a month in this chair, or in bed, either one. There's days where I feel like I have loads of energy, and then there's days where I just feel like, nah, I can't get out of bed. And that's not just down to mentally, it's physically, but my body is just shutting down from it. But guys, I know it's going to be weird, but I hope you enjoyed this informative video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below for any more video ideas you want to hear me talk about. Until next time, guys, we are out.